You know how a lot of things just want to go wrong or piss you off on your big day? That's exactly what happened on this day. The day started with my videographer and photographer arriving late, so I had to cover the cooking by myself. And that's why I couldn't even cover most of the things, like where they were killing the chicken, frying the meat, all of those things I couldn't cover there because I was busy. So by the time I came out to record some part of the video, they were almost done cooking, they had done a lot of things already. But then I was able to capture my mother and my auntie dancing, and then the women rounding off with the cooking. They were almost done at this point, but it was still great that I was able to just capture this part. This is the moment after I had changed into my first outfit for the day. I was just dancing and vibing to the song that was playing. And this is my friend. She came all the way from Aba to Ikwerre to witness this. So she was helping me to capture, some moments and all that. We're just vibing to a song while I was calling some of my guests and trying to find out where they were and if they needed any more directions. So at this point, my photographer and videographer had already arrived and they were capturing some beautiful pictures and videos of me. So we're taking these pictures, changing styles, poses, and all that when our guest arrived. My husband to be and his people arrived at this point. So I had to rush inside because my mother had told me that I wasn't supposed to be outside. They weren't supposed to see me until I am called out to come and greet them. So I went inside. Now this is Port Harcourt City. My husband to be sent me this video. This is where he was getting ready. You can see his friends and family helping him to get dressed, and all that. So this point, the cars were already coming. This is my husband's family. There are women and men, umonna, umwada, all of those stuff. So this is the point at which I arrived, and then I had to go inside. It was my friend that was recording these videos. I had to go inside quickly. So at this point, all the guests were alighting from the vehicles. They were coming down. It was a long journey. I think Port Harcourt to my place is about 3 or 4 hours. I don't know. But then, see the older men, the young guys, everybody was coming down. But this is not easy. Oh. I can tell how much my man actually spent. To hire this bus alone was a lot of money. I remember one transport company actually told him it was 500K, a 30-seater bus, 500K before he finally found this one. So he spent a lot of money to get this done. But when people look at it, they feel like no much money was put into this. But this actually cost him a lot. And now only us really know what we see. So these are the women. They were alighting, old women, they don't tire. And this is my husband's friend, and these are just family and friends. So let's move over to the part where my father is directing them to our house. My father had not yet changed into his outfit for the day. He was still wearing it. Even my mother and then my uncles, they were directing our guests. The man by the left is my father-in-law, and then the other one by the right is, I think, the chairman of their Omona meeting or something. And then the other one wearing the Isiago is the groom, not groom to be, sorry, the groom, that's husband to be. So the women were sitting in the corridor while the men were sitting inside the house because that parlor was actually not enough. We even had to use the seats from our dining table, yet it was not enough to, cater for everybody. So some people had to sit outside while some people sat inside. So my elder brothers were there too, but nobody actually had the time to change into their proper outfits because there was a lot of work to do that day, a lot of errands to run. So everybody just wore anything just to make sure that everything went well. And I sincerely, deeply appreciate all my family members, my aunties, my uncles, my brothers, especially, and even my father. Everybody was just on their toes to make sure that everything goes well. So this is presentation of cola. This is my father presenting the cola to the guests. He actually brought the cola first, and then after it passed around, it came back to him. So I think that's the way Ikwerre people do it or something. I don't know, but I just know that this presentation of cola. So there's garden egg, there's cola nut, and then there is osoji. What do they call that in English? I don't know. My mother made it herself. So it's at this point that they were, breaking the cola nut to serve the guests. And then this is palm wine. They brought fresh palm wine for everybody. And then this is the point at which they told my husband to greet our family members. That's my own umonna, the men from my family. So he was greeting them, shaking their hands, and they were also being introduced to each other, introducing my father in law to be to them and all that. So at this point, I think my father and my father-in-law, these are the two of them. It was a coincidence that they actually wore the same color of senator, but it was not planned. And this is the point at which they started negotiating the things on the list. The argument here plenty. I had to just cut. I had to cut out a part of it because they were arguing and arguing. This is it. This is not it. This is it. This is not it. At the end of the day, the man don't marry the woman. They say he don't marry her. So they had, they were talking and talking. It was a long conversation, but at the end of the day, they were finally able to agree on a particular thing. Because you know that when it comes to in my place, so men don't really demand that you buy things. They demand for money. They will list out everything they need, but they will tell you to pay in cash instead of buying those things for them. So they just share their money and go. You only have to buy one or two things, maybe drinks and yam or something or goats. I don't know, but you just buy one or two things, but the remaining things you just give them money. They don't want you buying plenty things. But it's the women that will ask you to buy this, buy that, buy this. But so the women shared bags of rice, bags of salt. There were a lot of things, drinks, maggi, cream, powder. Things plenty. So after sharing all those things, they still shared money. But for the men, it's not that. It's not like that. I think for men, their lives are easier and simpler. It's the women that want a lot of drama and they are demanding too much. So after that, I was called out to come and greet the women. That's the Ikwerre women, and this is the best part of this whole event. They sang for me. They sprayed money on me. Hey, it was so beautiful. I had never experienced this in my life. The women were so happy to see me, and they were singing. Nwata a yiri foto ka anyị jee lere anya ya nwakọ yiri sinima ya ka anyị jee lere anya ya. That's this girl looks like a picture. Let's go and look. Let's go and see more like it. And when they say you look like a photo, a photograph, it means that you're beautiful. So they were singing, they were so happy, they were praising me. You look so beautiful, our brother has married a good woman and stuff like that. They were singing and spraying. I think we got over 20,000 from the women alone. It was a lot of money if you ask me, because I did not even expect that they would spray money at all. So it was beautiful. I couldn't even dance. Normally, I don't know how to dance. And then secondly, I was extremely shy. But this woman on, I think the hair is ox blood. That's my husband's eldest sister. That's my husband's eldest sister. And then the woman with the half fan is my spiritual mentor. She came all the way from Owerri to witness this, and it made me feel really special. So the rest of the women were really, really happy. You can see the way I was blushing. It shows that I was so happy the way they accepted me, the way they welcomed me. The woman on green is my mother-in-law's elder sister, their first daughter. We were having fun until my uncle came and dragged me inside, saying that the men demanded to see me. And then I went inside, and they were more like introducing me to the men from my husband's side. And they were talking and talking. Then my father said he wanted to bless us. So I had to just go inside and change. Okay, at this point, before the whole blessing thing, at this point, my dad was when they brought my husband to come and hold me so that I can we can stand there and look at everybody. I don't know how to explain this part. I just know that it's more like introduction, introducing us to everybody, husband and wife and stuff like that. So when this man finished talking, actually they wanted me to carry a glass of wine and come and kneel down to my before my husband, more like to show them who my husband is. But my father said that we don't do it in our place. We actually do it. It is a typical traditional marriage ceremony. But if it is something that is done inside the house, just like this one, we don't do it. We don't carry a glass of wine or whatever to come and kneel down before the man. My father demanded that he prays for us instead. So I had to quickly go inside and change into my actual attire to match my husband's shirt. So at this point, I was walking back in, and this is the point at which my father was praying for us. This was a very emotional moment for me and for my father. You see, the point at which he hugged me, he was trying to hide the tears. He was crying at this point, he was teary because he knew that, oh, I'm finally giving my daughter away to a man. And me coming home is going to be from time to time. I'm no longer going to be living with them and all of that. So he was really emotional. So we knelt down, and my father was, blessing our marriage. He prayed for fruitfulness of the womb, that that we may be able to have both male and female children, financial breakthrough, peace, all of those things that a father would, say to the child and her husband. So after the prayer, we went out to continue with the pictures. We're already taking pictures before the actual thing started. So we went out to continue taking pictures. All the pictures I saved from Pinterest, hoping to recreate them with my mother. There was no time to recreate them. I was so pained. There were a lot of beautiful pictures I found on Pinterest, but there was no time because we needed to start going. I left with my husband that same day. We needed to start going because we were going to Port Harcourt, and we didn't want to get home late in the night.
This
So we had
position
to
is
just rush the whole thing so that we can leave. From this video, you can see that this part is just pictures, pictures, pictures. The photographer was snapping, the videographer was recording, and my friend too. She was using my phone to record the whole thing. And this is just pictures, videos, and all of that stuff. So after this point, the next thing was actually departure. I moved my things. This is our village, so I had to come with my things from the town, and then I left with my husband on that same day. It was a very emotional moment. I cried though. I really cried. This is the point that broke my heart. This is the handover. My father was handing me over to the oldest man in my husband's family. So the man then handed me over to my husband's father, who finally handed me over to my husband. I legit broke down in tears. I was crying. My father too was teary, but now, not Igbo people, sha, but people will say men don't cry. So my father was trying to hold it in, but I knew he was actually very teary. I cried though. I cried. My immediate elder brother cried too. My mother too cried. But I don't think we are able to capture my mother when she was crying. But she cried. But then this is life. Life is in phases, so it's